That's right, infidels. We're back live here, youtube.com, Ben Hamin channel for the Ultra Kayfabe Declassified Thursday taping of your Friday locker room. And I just need some conversation. I need somebody to talk to, and that's my man, Big Stevie Cool, back in the saddle this morning. Glad to have him back here. hackerhamin.podbean.com, infidels. Yalla. Yeah, man. Good morning, Stevie. Good morning, pal.
Did I just do what is that called again?
You were awesome. Hey.
599, 32 degrees.
You make it look like $1 million, bro.
I think I'm going to start putting up influencer stuff where it's like in front of my rusted 2006 paid off Honda Accord with $6 Goodwill. But I'm sure I'll get a lot of hate because I'm putting it out there. By the way, I would like to tell Biden and the U.S. government that you're welcome that I was able yesterday with my IRS tax payments to fund the bombing of Syria for at least a few more hours.
Appreciate that, man. We really do. I mean, we can't do it without donors like you making all this possible, man.
It was like a PBS type fundraiser thing. Mm-hmm. And I it's people like me that make this happen.
Did you did you donate enough to get a handbag, this I Bomb Syria handbag?
No, I didn't, but I did. There was a used Biden face mask if I donated over $100,000, and I was damn near that. But it's just, instead, I got the Kamala Harris, playbook to advance in politics biography.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, rough draft. It's called a missionary draft.
Excellent, man. I know I'm dreading that stress. I got to get my shit in line this weekend to start doing it. But as you said last night, they pushed it back even another month. So good rib that way. So I don't know. I'm not too much of a procrastinator when it comes to getting those deadline things done, but it's never a fun time on TurboTax or whatever you use, H&R Block. Both of those can send me a check now for those free plugs. But, it's just the pain in the ass of watch me be stolen from and do it with a smile on your face.
Well, I will say this. I had an account for many years with WWE, and this before the TurboTax and H&R Block. But my cousin, who's actually the CFO of my corporation and just been an amazing person to work with financially, and he gets it. He's been doing TurboTax for probably 14, 15 years. And this is a guy who has assets, children, all the more complicated stuff, plus running his own business with him, Morgan Stanley. And last year, my accountant kind of flaked out or whatever. And we had a scramble, went through TurboTax, super, super easy. This year, and I'm one of those people, I have to be in control. And I'm sure you are the same way, as that. So for me to see, as much as of a fuck it is to see that number kind of go up as you're adding things up instead of down for people and no refunds, at least I'm in control and I get to pay, and they have audit protection. They have live chat that I can make a FaceTime call with somebody, and at the fraction, and they're not sponsoring this, so otherwise you would have me reading from a stupid script.
Right.
But it was really a pleasure, and a fraction of the money I used to pay for a physical accountant. So I think that's the place where everything is heading right now, just like Zoom calls and other things. Accounting is going to be these
therapy's online now too.
Yeah. Yeah, the telemedicine, things that we thought was just like a futuristic type thing. But this thing with TurboTax and H&R Block, you're not going to pay as much as I did or you as an independent contractor or a self-employed individual and all the complicated things you have to put in there. Mm-hmm. But if you're just doing a 1040, this thing will probably cost you under $100 to do everything. It's really that easy.
I'm down for that, man. Yeah, I just don't look. It's fun when you get into it a little bit, when you get to see the numbers switching. But once it goes up and doesn't come back, you're like, oh God, how do I cheat this? Not cheat this thing. You don't want to say that to the IRS, but how do I? It's a video game now. It's just like the way you're going to plug the numbers in. Are you going to get the best one back? So we'll see how it goes for me. I'm hoping it goes well for you as
Here's a fun game to play if you're an independent contractor. Sit down and talk to a person that's W-2'd and has their taxes automatically taken out, and then show them the number of what you're paying at the end of the year. But I explained to my wife that she was really, happy I'm being sarcastic. When I said, oh, by the way, you know, because I contribute a lot to the retirement to lower my taxable income. And I said, okay, we get taxed this much. I put it in the retirement. When I am able to access it, I will get taxed again. And if I pass away before you, whatever I pass on to you will be taxed a third time. And I think there's a fourth time somewhere in there.
Sure.
So congratulations. I think it'd be great to talk about that, maybe even on a separate show, to smarten people up to the glamorous life of a TV professional wrestler and all the things that you think that there's people in, just like football and baseball and basketball, where these guys go to the stadium beforehand and all your uniforms are laid out and everything's there and the meals are prepared for you. And it's starkingly different than that. You're literally I don't know what it is. It's like you're running your own little mom and pop business without any storefront. That's pretty much what it is.
That's exactly what you could say the model of Hamin Media Group is small business, no storefront, all digital assets with just overhead, you know, of whatever I have to do to put more paintbrushes out there, I guess.
Well, you have employees. I can't write off my cats. So you have employees, you can do that. Which on the other end, they make it to where if you want to run a legitimate business and pay employees, this whole thing with the minimum wage and the other things to try to lower the bar for people. I think they're going to ban internship eventually.
I don't have employees. I have a lot of interns who, you know, get a stipend because we're not to the point yet of minimum wage and this, that, and the other hours, man. I can only, you know, pay out what I can while I keep my own lights on for all the hard work everybody's doing on the Patreons, on the promotions, on the video editing, and there's so many people hands on deck right now. I just try and make the rounds fairly with whatever little excess that there is, you know what I mean? So they appreciate it. I know I do, but then to be like, oh, well, they're working this, that, and the other. No, we're not going to play that game yet. We're not, HMG's not to that account until I have an HR office that handles that shit. It ain't going down like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it went down last night though, Stevie. I don't know. You were probably in bed by this time post Horseman, which was another I thought really fun show to reset the needle last night. I enjoyed talking Dyatlov Pass and enjoyed not really enjoyed the breakdown of the green screen of Biden last night, which was the hot thing. And then we had to touch on the marvelous Marvin Hagler passing and the surrounding controversy with the vaccine that he took. And then, post being taken down to kind of mask it. But I woke up this morning and the Alex Jones on what the hell's his name? Andrew Schultz. Yeah, Schultz. The 3-hour show they had where they're just kicking around with comedians and talking conspiracy with him and his buddy, gone, that taken down from YouTube, banned. Just absolutely bad. And I actually found, I don't know if Sam Tripoli got kicked off and came back or not, because it's like he's got another account, the new re-educated Sam Tripoli, but somebody had hit me up with a video that I was looking for last night. I don't know if you saw this or not. Just bring up my Twitter here. But this is what I was looking for. Just an absolutely ridiculous.
I'm not asking what's in the infusion. I'm not looking up all of the ingredients in the infusion. I am sticking out my arm and I am taking the infusion. I'm not asking what's in the infusion.
You know what this reminds me of? A little less ghetto, but how ignorant it is. Obama phone lady, part 2.
Yeah, so when she's on her deathbed in 3 to 5 years and says it's an Obama phone that you can't ever take back. You can't ever trade in. That's what it is.
The ignorance of it, of just give me it and I want it. It's mine, mine now. And then Obama phone lady flips when she finds out to the other side what it's really all about. I almost, this is going to sound terrible. I hope this lady gets close to having to be on her deathbed, and not in 3 to 5 years, in 3 to 5 weeks. So I hope she has an adverse reaction. She goes down, because if you're going to march out puppets like that to speak to the African American community and the Nancy Browns of don't ask, don't tell. I don't care. I just trust everybody implicitly so we can get back to life. I don't care what it is in there. Like that type of level of ignorance, normalizing that, you're gone. You're gone from this world. Thank you for playing.
I think it was edited because her next two things that she was going to tell people was her workout and her diet advice.
Yeah, she looks like she's got it all on lock. You should take all advice from her. So
super healthy. What about the guy from Run DMC with that? Basically, don't debate. Let's not talk. Let's just get the shot or whatever. I didn't see any kind of footage of him raising up the sleeve and taking it in public. That's strange. Wouldn't you think that would be the follow-up?
Yeah, I would have closed the video with that, with DMC getting it, but it's just more insults to a community that they think is fucking stupid, that they don't see it, man. And they're the most aware community to bullshit and to lies after being, propagandized to for 160 years. And here we are with the lowest level of just like, but unfortunately, everyone's fucking holding up their card. I got the jab and this and that and the other. But that's what what I've seen in the last week is the process to just change the conversation and normalize it, and even normalize ignorance right there. That's very 1984. Ignorance is strength, right? They do the double speak. That's one of the tenets.
We have no time to think. We have no time to read. We have no time to research. We just need to do
even
it.
That the ignorance and strength is if everyone is ignorant and we push that motion that forward, well, our strength is the numbers and people who are getting it. They'll keep them ignorant to what's in there, but there's strength in being ignorant because there's a big group of us together who just want to get back to normal and no one's going to stop us. Yeah, I'll stay ignorant to it. I don't care because it hasn't killed anyone that I know of. And that's the level right out of Orwell that we're at. Ignorance is strength, and that's what stupid fucking cunts like her believe, bro. And they just got to go from this world. I really hope she has a terrible adverse reaction to it.
I want to give people a timeline on how they're doing double think and double speak, or trying to play you. Now, Biden, I'm not picking sides with this. I'm just talking about the duplicity of it all. During the debates, Kamala Harris said, I will not take a Trump vaccine. Magically, on November 5th or January 6th or January 20th, it became their vaccine, and they're on camera both taking it. Then they said, we have no vaccines after they showed themselves getting the vaccine. Now they're saying that they have to start all over again because Trump didn't leave them with any kind of plan for COVID or anything like that. Now, if people start dying and it comes out and they can't say it's not because of the vaccine and they have to kind of lean into it, it'll all of a sudden become Trump's vaccine again.
Sure.
Trump is the one that killed these people, even though way back in the day, the xenophobia or the xenophobic Trump had a travel ban that Biden said, let's not do this. And then even Nancy Pelosi was in the streets of San Francisco during Chinese New Year saying, celebrate, just go out. Don't mind that. Then it's Trump killing these people that they told that can live their lives the way they want to. Then I'm trying to keep up with it. Then when they want to end the lockdowns, then they say, no, you can't do that because you're going to kill people. And these bits that they're doing, I think, are being scrubbed as well, because I couldn't find the Pelosi thing on Chinese New Year. I couldn't find the Joe Biden xenophobia thing. Also, the travel ban is actually still there. The immigration and the kids in cages are still there. It's just now they put butterfly stickers on the wall, and they're supposed to be compassionate.
Well, what's butterfly stickers mean? Operation Monitor.
Kids better, it's time for escape plan. Watch it, Stallone and Schwarzenegger.
I mean, it's just gonna, and we're only 2 months in. Where are we gonna be by June? You know what I mean? And comically enough, not comically enough, because I've been working hard to try and get ready for the shows in June. But 2CW, pushing their shows that were scheduled for June, living on the edge, and older, fatter, balder, the reunion of the century the century probably. Pushed to September and October now. So even when they're trying to get it going and get the machine started, New York State Athletic Commission, we're just not sure if we can approve anything for June that close of there might be a flare up. There might be as the show was supposed to be last June, then pushed to December, then rescheduled again. And love Josh to death, and obviously Strangler Steve, a huge part of what we have here at Hamin Media Group on the Wednesday Locker Room. But the rib continues, and Josh is so anti-Trump and was so Bill Maher, and it just got so upside down and became apparent that the lies were there. But then when they go over, I try not to beat on Josh because he's been through plenty in the last 2 years, but the reality of the hypocrisy just shines so brightly, so much through. And they try and do him or Danny Cage with we learned about gas prices in middle school, that one doesn't affect the other. Yeah. You really believe what you learned in 7th grade, and you want to use that after everything you've seen them do since 7th grade? You want to go 7th? Let's start at World Trade Center 7. Now you believe what they told you in 7th grade. Like, they use that as an argument against me and anything when gas prices go up 70 cents to $1 in 2 months, and it just happens to be because of shortage. Meanwhile, there's less people on the road than ever because of home lockdowns. So there's no business proposition where there'd be a shortage, where they would raise the price on surplus because for it just doesn't make any sense, except for democratic greed tied into Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and China with backdoor deals where more of these scumbag politicians are raping the American people month one once again, dude. It's George Bush all over again, except this time the Dems are doing it on their side, and we're right back to war.
And for people to think that we're anti all of them, we're not pro any of them. It sucks all around. And this lesser of two evils vote is some bullshit that's really got to stop. It's really got to stop. As far as the gas prices, yeah. But I want to empower people and tell people something. As I learned yesterday, okay, I have to tighten up a little bit. I got to save more. Maybe we're not going to go out to eat anyway because we're dieting. We'll save on that. Mm-hmm. You can make the changes. This whole thing, when you look at what they're doing and what's going on.
Sorry, I got to stop you. I love you.
Sure.
But why do you need to fuck making the changes? Like, I mean, sure, we all want to save.
No, I'm not playing by their rules. I'm just
pointing it like that. I have to choose one or the other because of gas and whatnot. They are taking away American liberty lifestyle to do that. And I'm not trying to beat you down, but you having to make that choice is them controlling behavior.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I just feel like it's a little bit of reverse psychology, because if people feel the pain and they keep squeezing them and they keep taking away the independence and they keep taking away money, and you start doing the Ronald Reagan equation where you're like, I'll just do 2 movies a year because the government takes the entire third. And that's what made that guy run for office. Sure. And think what you will about him, but his mission statement in his mind was the fact that he was tired of the government getting into his pocketbook, and even on his side a little bit getting into his private life. He wanted government out of his life completely. Now, whatever it morphed into when they took him back in the room and said, you're going to pick George H.W. Bush as your vice president. There's a little history there, because he wasn't going to pick Bush.
No,
but Bush was a government created CIA. He created the CIA. Basically, he was in the founding member of that. And they basically said, I think the rumor was he was about to drop him, and they shot him. They tried to assassinate him.
Why not?
And now Bush was already in line with that. That's a side note, but that's on both sides how it works. I just look at it as they set up these rules, they change them. At least I can try to play by them. And it's always fun. Like you said, I gamify it in a video game type thing, just like from wrestling. Because wrestling is mimicking government with the boys and the girls right now.
Oh, sure.
Pay goes down as you get more experience. You're a veteran with 30 years experience. So guess what? There's no place for you in the business because you said our show's not good. You worked in OVW, you worked in the system. You're right. You have an official entertainment background in improv, but you said bad things about us. We know it sucks.
And we're all true.
We can say it sucks, but you can't. So now you're blacklisted. Yeah, we got to play around that. So we pivot and we do our thing. And I hope people learn with that. You got to learn what's going on in your own house. You got to make your own bed. You got to do all these things. Anything short of that, unless you want to run for office, which by the way, I'm not allowed to, but if you want to run for office and change things, that's probably the only way outside of voting consistently, which here I go again. It doesn't really work anymore. Even if you do vote. So let me take that back. I got nothing.
I wasn't trying to slam you. I just say where we pivot to a positivity away from a sticky situation where we're like, I don't want to participate in that at all. They're still winning because they're making us pivot and choose instead of just having it all how we should and saying, fuck you, you get nothing from me. I tell you what I give you, not the other way around. And that's how they've broken us.
Yeah, we can go back and forth forever. But even like when I was looking at mountain houses and cabins and trying to live somewhat off the grid, Utah, when I went up to Utah and I was looking out there, I don't know about here in Georgia or even Florida, but if you collect rainwater, there's some kind of a connection to the government with water rights where they may actually penalize you and take the water from you because it's their water.
Talk to Nestle about that. And I'm talking this morning in the chat room. We're 31 strong right now. I saw Bernie DC was first in the chat this morning, so he gets firsties, but it was his birthday last night, I believe. He said he went through 50 calendars, so appreciate you, bro, tuning in last night and tomorrow. We enjoyed the Conspiracy Horsemen as I did. I like to get back to those fanciful stories, even though it's a tragedy of what we talked about last night. But it still had UFOs and Yetis and all types of mystery, built into it. So a good show after 3 great shows with great guests, just the Horsemen last night. See Rat Salad Review, Cujo, Scott Woodford, the Canadian Spaceman's touching down, Society Reviews, Joe Raines in the house, Sonic the Hedge Rat, Jack Mehofer, I like that one. Classic Classified Chappie, Walrads is in the house, and Lord Michael of Hellview. Is that you? Is that your new one under a new pseudonym? But
new rap group with Lord Jamar.
Jamal, if you will. Greg Mosier as well, our own Mo's hanging and banging this morning. So appreciate you guys being in the chat room here live on youtube.com. Ben Hamin channel, we're now at 33 live viewers, and you can get 33% off, or excuse me, not 33% off, 33% more through the month of March at thebrosters.com, giving away that extra 4 ounces on a 12-ounce bag of Vince Russo Bro coffee. A lot of you guys been buying it this month. They love it. The quality of it's so high. And when anybody tries it, they're like, oh, it's not just a gimmick with Russo's picture on it. This really is artisanal products offered by Hamin Media Group and thebrosters.com together, as well as Zordos Olive Oil, ultra premium Greek olive oil. Make a healthier choice in 2021 and start cooking with Zordos Olive Oil right from the owners of Dippin' Donuts and our own Dimitri Zordos, the Academy Star Trek podcast, man. So, Stevie, I'm ready to break your mind a little bit more if you want to talk about, oh, they got me, and I'll do whatever you say because the headlines are terrible and ready.
I guess. migraine ready to be turned up the tape.
Well, I was going to say what everybody's talking about from last night. I don't know if you saw this morning or any highlights, but the AEW main event was Dr. Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa in a hardcore match, and they both got color. Britt Baker was Ric Flair 1985 bloody in it, bro, and people are putting it over, and everybody in the locker room and all the vets are selling, and I watched it. It was what you want from an ECW hardcore Sabu main event, but it's Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, 2 chicks. One's a gimmick and the other one is kind of a shooter wrestler that does the Day of the Dead, and they're both hot, so you have sexual attraction to them, but then now they're a bloody mess. where are we in this of these attractive girls doing hardcore to get color to do a first time, oh my God, Joey Styles thing and have the internet blowing up. But now we have true women's rights where our women are bleeding. I mean, we have it in UFC, but we usually don't see them getting this kind of color, man. It's an interesting, two sides of the coin here. It was a solid hardcore match, but from divas who should be the sex appeal.
During a time of COVID. That's something that you can get shut down real quick for that. You're talking about just breathing near people with this hysteria about COVID. What about blood transmission? Well, I'm sure Khan does the 60-second everything blood test. He actually sticks to he's a phlebotomist too. So
it tastes fine to me. I think she's good, dude.
And he just nods his head with if you see the more whites of his eyes you see, the more that she passed the test and she's able to go out there and compete. I haven't seen it. I saw a bloody picture on your Facebook group. I don't know. Do these girls have a long-standing feud, or is this kind of
not really? It's a
okay. Well, there you go. There's another strike.
Yeah. I mean, they say it was paying off or not, but the boys liked it. The boys are totally into it.
Now he's touching his shoulder. What do you think is going on below that picture thing?
Well, you can't see the top of Omega's head, but
somebody asked a question just off topic if I think Pennsylvania will recall the governor. I don't think any. There you go. Yep, Jed can bleed. Yep, bleed.
Yep.
9 days. 9 days. 9 days. We extended menstrual to 9 days.
Yeah. No hepatitis here. Yeah, definitely 9 days. Yeah. Definitely 9 days. You'll be fighting on dynamite. Yeah.
Oh, dude, his eyes were so squinty. It was like my migraine this morning. But to get back to the governor thing, just quick, someone asked, I don't want to pass that up. I don't think anybody's going to do anything. They have over 2 million votes for the California governor. Guess what? Oh, let's open it up. People don't see through that shit. These people are never going to get out of office. And after January 6th, everybody's going to play it super, super safe. Or it's going to go to hell all crazy and never calm down. You're probably going to have razor wire fence around every capital of every city and every state. That's what I see happening. As ludicrous as that sounds, rather than recalling an unpopular governor that is just taking the rights away from every business and individual, they will put fencing and National Guard around every capital. Oh,
dude, that's, straight out of what the fuck's the 1985 movie, Red Dawn, everything along those lines in the fallen America as we get closer to it.
Well, people really, I was terrified, and I was so glad my family left Philadelphia just before this happened. Where they leaked it, but it got out on purpose, saying we're not going to arrest anybody for any crimes that are less than murder or rape. You go around breaking windows and breaking home invasions and do all this other shit in Philadelphia, and we're not going to arrest anybody. Matter of fact, that's known around in the major cities, but they put it out there in the media. That should be a criminal offense, not even impeachable for whoever in the government let that out. But that's what we have.
I agree. Where is V when you need them?
V the aliens or or both?
Sure. Yeah, they can work together.
As above, as so below. Or down below.
Right on, man. But yeah, they're going hard at Cuomo right now too. So I hope by the weekend he falls. I just love to see the Masters fall. That's one of my favorite things. That's because they're eating their own, and their own are turning on them and to throw them off the boat, as it gets smaller and smaller. And
let's stop right there though. This is very much like wrestling. This is very much why lead writers and these two people were hired this past couple weeks. So Bruce can keep his job, so Vince can keep the TV rights and keep giving USA and Fox a bunch of bullshit. They're serving Cuomo up because he's the easy patsy, just like Epstein quieted everybody down for a few months. We don't even hear about Maxwell, who was actually the ringleader, and Epstein was the patsy, I think.
Is it like Mario Kart where the dude throws the banana behind, but the banana is really Cuomo, and then whoever's behind you spins out on them while they keep going down the highway to hell. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, I totally agree that the model's there, because when you got bipartisan, they both want Cuomo out. So now this is a supposed unity, and everybody, once we get rid of him, everybody's going to ignore Newsom and these other people and everything else. It's another distraction. Or he pissed somebody off and he got a little cocky, and the political mafia said, oh, okay, you got to go. Like he pissed somebody off up top.
I'm not sure who it is, but yeah, that's exactly. He's just being cordwood thrown on the fire and kicking, screaming the whole way, and it makes them all look bad. And I love that. Let them destroy themselves to the next degree, man.
Mm-hmm.
But these girls destroyed themselves. Lots of color last night, bro. And I just don't know. Like women's revolution. I could see Becky and Charlotte wanting to do this dumb shit too, but both these girls are attractive and can wrestle, and this was out of nowhere on a St. Patrick's Day extravaganza where girls are getting hardcore color. I don't know, man. Me in 1995 as a 2C or an ECW mega fan would have popped massive for this. Me as a director, producer, and performer in wrestling, now I look at it and I have some questions, but I also see some value to it. So I'm not just going to shit on it. At the end of the day, they got color for the biz. They were in the main event. And as a main event hardcore, that delivered. Is it the right players in it? That I leave to each individual audience member.
Okay, so what happens next week?
Yeah, where are we going next week?
If they never touch or they never goes anywhere, what are we looking at here?
They put it over as this is the blow off to the feud. They were even putting that over like, wow, what an ending. Yeah, there's no big like super feud. They just had on 5 different shows little back and forths. None of it was like, what's the reason and why?
I was laughing so hard because I was like, I hope Ben sees this when they advertised 15 matches for Dark last. Like, did you see that? 15 matches.
Even worse than that, I saw a clip where
that's the YouTube show, not the TV. 15 matches on the YouTube show before Dynamite.
You pay QT, you're gonna get a match.
Well, dude, you got the same thing as Performance Center. How tired is the talent that has to sit in the crowd?
Oh, absolutely. You're worn out. 15 matches. Come on. I mean, a bad indie card will have 10. Now we're at 15. And then that total rib on the business, whatever she is, anime, schoolboy, Sailor Moon dream, schoolgirl, Maki Ito, Maki Shido comes out and fucking does her thing. And they cut to Big Show and Shivani, and they're like half dancing to sell it on the commentary table while this fucking little Japanese girl does some pop star gimmick in Japan language, Japanese, and fucking it's embarrassingly bad. Like now you're just winding these guys up to, and we need you happy on commentary instead of being like, what the fuck am I watching here?
So this is sports-based singing?
Yeah, it's sports-based singing. Let me see if it's right here. 1 second.
I did see a clip of it. I think it was in your group once again. Yeah. It was like I was watching something that wasn't supposed to be wrestling, and then to cut the Big Show and Shivani. What they have to do when that happens, every move they make like this, there has to be money flying out over the shoulder, because that's all hit
him with the Young Bucks gun.
Do you think they watched Master Shoot Theater where Vince was making every Young Raider do the chicken dance?
It could. Well, that was the peacock strut. Let's not get slammed on the chicken dance. But yeah, that must be in the Hamin Media Group, that clip, because it's not on my Twitter. I
heard it. I was just like, you say don't quit your day job about wrestling. Well, don't quit your wrestling job for singing. Not that I'm a great singer. Well, what is this, Al? Was this Dark or Dynamite?
Dark. It goes Big Show. It's their first the launch of their Dark show. That's
okay,
what
so
Big
tell me how many shows. This reminds me of WCW so much. So there's AEW Dynamite. There's AEW Dark. And there's AEW Dark Elevation. So there's 3 shows.
Yes.
Then there's the Road to show.
And there's Being the Elite.
And Being the Elite. Okay. Then you have a shot of Brandy, which I can't believe that hasn't been on Dynamite every week.
Heels. That's the all women AEW fan group that pays.
I thought I had to go back and do stunt work again.
How about that? There's Heels, then they're all in the Cool Kids Club together, and none of them talked. There's Heels, the women's AEW self-help support group. There's Heels, the show that is Cody and Stephen Amell's baby, and then there's Heels, the Ryan Nemeth movie that's coming out as well. And all of them work together, but they all name their project Heels. Like, if I had a chief branding officer on staff here, I might have said, hold on, time out. But what do I know?
I'm looking at AEW Heels. All right. And when you scroll down, the first thing you see is Shaq training. $49 for how long? How long is this? A month or a year?
Yeah, a month.
What?
A month to get to go in private chat.
My cell phone bill is $50 a month. Well, I get unlimited everything.
But are you talking to Brandy and other AEW's divas?
I drive one town over. Well, it cost me a lot of gas money. You can drive one town over. I'm sure they won't talk to me. I mean, if they see me in their neighborhood, they're probably like, what's this piece of white trash with $6 Goodwill shoes doing here?
Who let that Honda Accord in the gated community?
Who's that poor man Steve Jobs wearing the same shit every day?
Is that Jesus? Is he back? Close the gates.
Oh, he found us out. He knows about the money grab.
He's coming to flip.
Don't let him flip our gimmick table over. Dude, would that be a hell of a gimmick? I would come back as Jesus and flip a gimmick table on a wrestling show.
Oh, priceless.
This is a month? You got to be kidding me.
I'm not.
Dude, this is some GeoCities type fucking shit if you're old enough to remember this.
Yeah, well,
this looks like a GeoCities site.
It's usually
shot of Brandy on the bottom.
And like a, Britt Baker or whoever, so you get to interact with them. It's a digital meet and greet for women because this is a safe space, AEW, all inclusive, except how is it all inclusive if it's strictly for women? I don't get that.
Britt Baker's tweet is at the bottom underneath Brandy's True TV's Fast Foodies guest. The bad news is ... you forgot to kill me ... face of the women's division, and it's her bloody. Now I would say this too, and I learned this the absolute hard way from Vince McMahon, who yelled at me, and he had every right to do so. I said I was screaming at Dreamer like something like I'll kill you, like as I'm beating him up with fake punches, and he's like, "Oh, you're gonna kill him, huh?" I was like, I don't even remember saying that because I'm just dumb fucking kid caught up in the moment. Right. He's like, why are you proud? You say you're going to do something you can't do. That's stupid. Mm-hmm. And you have to take it there or else you look like an idiot. So Thunder Rosa, she's daring you to kill her.
Right. That's why we don't bring guns to the ring. Mm-hmm. You bring it, you got to use it. You're going
to have to kill me to do that. And it's just like, I don't know. Maybe it's because where we're at in wrestling and the stage we're at, and we're breaking this down and splitting hairs. But my goodness, like it really is like, how can we change this business to at least give a little bit of credibility into it? It's already laughed at and snickered at, or just like, oh God, there's nothing we can do except, like Russo says, blow the whole damn thing up and start over. We got to figure this out. It's dead. It's essentially dead since Bobby Heenan said the business is dead. So now we need a whole new professional wrestling business. Do you agree?
There's no way to dude, we had Hopscotch and Slime, and now we have hot women getting color in the main event in hardcore matches. Do you think that we're not so far away from where we should be of like being able to tell a story, draw a crowd? Banning thigh slaps is now a fucking, thing. Like, come on, like we're so far away from they've brutalized this art and gotten rid of the true artist and let children who finger paint now be referred to as Da Vinci and Van Gogh level artists. They're not. They're not that. What you can call them whatever you want, put whatever label you want on them. They are amateurs at best. They are playing wrestler. They are not the real thing. They don't know what they're doing, because if they do, they'd be throwing time out. This isn't the right business. Let me show you what we can do to get the most out of this. But they don't even have a clue how to do that.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now that they're getting paid like they're doing it for real.
Yeah, and that's everybody just wink, wink, nudge, nudging and going, yeah, we're the best, while they collect a paycheck. And that is short money, because if they wanted to do it for real and have long money, they would be putting the right people in the right places, so they wouldn't be getting discredited every week and having sparklers go off or cutting the horns off of fake dinosaurs for a match and shit like this. Like, it's just one stupid bullshit thing after another, bro. It's an 11-year-old winning a Grammy Award, Cujo. Very good point there in the chat. That's where we are there. And hip hop is ruined too. It's absolutely filled with little kids who think they're gangsters. You know, we went from an era of men running things, real men, to now children and goofy ass fucking women who just want to play this shit but act like they're over. And you won't disrespect me because I'll use all of the social justice power to fucking have you canceled or whatever. Well, come at me, Briz. My body of work speaks for itself, and everything I'm saying is based in logic and free, reasonable thought. And there's no argument they can push my way that can't be, taken down and diffused. So
let me ask you this. Just one last question. You mentioned children winning the Grammys, so I think this would be a good segue. And I understand why they're doing it, and I commend them for doing this with Brody's kid. But don't you think it kills business a bit too to have him come out on dark with commentary? Or I've seen sporadic spots where he's out there and they're trying to get him involved. I think it's an excellent opportunity if the kid loves the business to learn being gorilla with Tony Khan and learn production and learn other things at such a young age. When I'm saying they want to be him and have him involved.
Tony Khan ever, never.
What's that?
I would never leave a child with Tony Khan. That to me sounds like molestation waiting to happen, bro.
Well, I mean, watch Allen versus Pharaoh, by the way.
Yeah.
No. I'm not talking about leaving him alone with the kid. I'm just saying if this is a part where the kid you want to be part of the company, you want to pay the family, and you want to do something kind, which I have absolutely no problem with. But when you put him on TV in these things and you're trying to get angles over in certain ways, it just takes away from him. Now, I've only seen bits and pieces, but it can muddy the water, and you have a child out there. So you really got to be careful with physicality or the kid getting hurt as well.
Absolutely. He was on last night in a backstage segment. And here, Amanda Huber responds to criticism over how AEW is using Brody Lee Jr. on TV. Amanda Huber, the widow.
Wait, the wife is the mother's criticizing it?
Yes. She's going to probably she's going to respond to criticism of it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The widow of former WWE and AEW star Brody Lee, John Huber, took to her Instagram stories this afternoon and addressed fan criticism over how often AEW has been using her son, Brody Lee Jr., also known as -1 of the Dark Order. It appears AEW has continued to let Brody Jr. appear with the Dark Order on various shows over the past few months, which comes after President Tony Khan signed Brody Jr. to a legitimate contract that will be valid when he turns 18 years old. If he wants to pursue a career in pro wrestling. Amanda often posts how much Brody Lee loves the sport and how he's been trying to learn. Regarding the criticism on social media, Amanda says it's disheartening to see people accuse AEW of exploiting her son. She noted how AEW has helped the family since Brody's passing on December 26th. She also thanked Mega Parek, the chief legal officer of AEW and the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Margaret Stalvey, the legal coordinator of AEW and the Jaguars. Amanda stressed how school comes first for her son, and visiting AEW is a privilege. You can see Amanda's full statement below. She says, I love pro wrestling my entire life. It's been my world for 19 years now. I still love it more than most things in this world. I try to ignore the shit online, but I know I see it. I see it. I see the snide comments about Brody's involvement, about the using of the word exploitation. It's disheartening. Our world has crumbled. AEW has helped us pick up the pieces. it's easy to be distrustful of any corporation. I'd be lying if I didn't constantly think the rug was going to get pulled out from under me. It hasn't. Even when it felt like everything was pulled out from under me, this wasn't. They let Brody feel like he's a part of something. Notice there's no storylines involving him, just him being connected to a huge part of him that's missing. What everyone doesn't see is the other side of social media is a kid who is carrying so much grief, yet so much joy, a kid who's excelling in his therapy, a kid who, despite the worst few months of his life, got 10 A's, 3 B's on his report card last week. On days we go to AEW, you're all missing him doing his schoolwork from the hotel because he's going to AEW as a privilege, or sitting with Auntie Mega working on math problems. They make me feel like I'm a part of something. We can drive every other show so I can spend time with people who remind me of the best parts of being alive, who sit in the crowd next to me and let me vent, cry, laugh, and breathe in a world that wants me to be weighed down with grief. My Instagram isn't grief porn. It's never going to be a place where I want people to come and I feel sorry for me. It's photos of my journey. So come join me. Just know I didn't die the day my husband did. I'm very much alive and full of fight. I'm not made of glass. I'm a diamond. And like a wise friend shared with me, hard times put a shine on a diamond. A poignant statement, absolutely going to go to bat for her son and how we see things. But at the same time, on the other side of that coin, your child actors, we've seen be exploited, and that's how things go. And yeah, it might be one thing, but we're talking about not just an isolated incident here of Brody passing and that going on. He was on the show this week. They're all wearing green Dark Order shirts. The kid steps up, I want the match, and they pull him back. Oh, hold on, little buddy. And then Johnny Hungry gets the match, which is, I would have rather seen Brody Jr. wrestle it, to be honest with you. And it's doing something good, but at the same time, it is exploitation. I can't say that it's not at the end of the day, dude. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. As a writer, you have sympathy, you have, nostalgia, you have respect when you see him on there, but thankfully he was wearing a shirt this time. So rolling little kids out in no shirts, let's stop doing that. Let's make that a hard, fast rule right there. But, the more you use them, the more the audience and the critics are going to be able to get their digs in on them. And does it come down to the fact of like, now you have your audience turning because it looks like you're exploiting a kid, even though for the kid, it's doing good things for him. Where do you balance the business in that? That's a tough door to open, a one that's helping a family and helping that kid. Absolutely a noble thing. I'm not going to say it's not. But too much of that is a tough thing to shoulder, and not enough of it is going to make people go, well, they just did that to make them to exploit them and get them over. So which end of the pocket do you sit in? I say, and I'm too close to it because of my connections to Brody and his family. I say keep the kid on TV if it's doing the fucking solid for him and the family. You know what I mean? But at the same time, do it the best way you can to marginalize the critics. Once you go down that road, it's a tough one to drive, man.
I stick by and what she said is absolutely true. And this is stuff like, obviously from a PR perspective, they could exploit and use that noble edge effect and show how Brody Jr. is backstage or doing his homework at the hotel room. And he's a kid that's still trying to live a normal life after all this happened. They could go further with it. So I give them that, but I still stick by my point that this kid does have an opportunity, a great massive opportunity to learn how TV production works, the backstage stuff, to do the things that Vince did with Shane and Stephanie when they were kids and have them learn every aspect of the business and the company. And then this kid, if he wants to wrestle when he's 18, he already has something to fall back on, and he's been doing for however many years before that. And so this could lead to, if the kid wanted the production job or something within the Jaguars or somewhere, there's so much more. I'm not saying that they're falling short with that. I'm just saying the opportunity, and maybe he's shadowing this person or that person, or looking in, they are watching the way the ring's set up and helping with that. Who knows?
I think you're super optimistic, thinking that Khans will own the Jaguars and or have a wrestling company in 7 years when he's 18. That's the biggest farce of what I think is going on here, bro.
Well, in the backhanded way, I was saying that he can be after his contract never gets validated.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I was kind of saying.
Yeah, well, the kid could be getting a world-class education on what not to do, what to do creatively, and he's been around wrestler since he was born. So this kid's born into the biz, man. No doubt about it, but hopefully he doesn't punch me in the nuts again next time I see him. All righty.
All right, you know what that gave me?
What's that?
Give me a congrain.
WWE NXT superstar reportedly injured last night. Tag team champion Danny Burch apparently suffered an injury during last night's NXT main event. The match saw Burch and Lorcan retain their titles over Karrion Kross and NXT champ Finn Balor. Burch was removed from the match past the halfway point after Lorcan attempted a double suplex on Kross, and Kross reversed the move when Burch came up short on the rotation and took a bad landing on his neck and shoulder. Burch laid on the mat, was tended to the referee, and NXT took some somewhat awkward commercial break. The show returned, and Burch was checked on at ringside by the medic. The announcers acknowledged the apparent injury, and Burch never returned to the match. There's no update on Burch's status as of writing this, but Mike Johnson via Pat Buck via Paul Heyman reports that the word going around backstage was that Burch may have suffered a separated shoulder. He's still being evaluated after last night. Not rib. I mean, I'm not happy. I like Burch and Lorcan together. But this this was tweeted by USA Network trying to get over. Look at the strength of Kross, and that's the spot that they show, and he does land fucked up. It's bad enough with Satin running Fox's whatever and how stupid he does things, but I'd like to know what's going on with the USA Network's Twitter, because I don't know who runs that, and it seems like their tweets are tweeted by someone who's not clued in on wrestling and what's going on.
It would be hiring people like that would be a trend that we see. Just like sometimes hiring people in positions of power that stooge off information for money within the WWE.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I mean, just to know that like if they were watching NXT and they know that he rolled out after that spot and went to the back, I would not tweet the injury spot as the spot that makes Killer Kross look strong. You know what I mean? Like they just don't understand it and they don't get it.
So it was a classic guys that are going to fight each other tag up against the tag champions formula where it could have been completely avoided and nobody got hurt.
Yeah, and it was, boot Kross, hook him up for the suplex. No,
I'm just saying the match in general.
Yeah. I mean, classic formula.
Any numbers on any of this stuff on these two shows?
Not that I've seen yet. Check Alvarez's shit real quick, but the thing is too with that injury probably changed the finish on the fly, because if you're going to do the old cookie cutter bit there, shouldn't it be Killer Kross and Finn breaking down at the end? But now they're up strong over.
Well, I would figure that they win the tag champions, because people that, just like the Jaguars, people that don't really work well as a team are always going to go undefeated and be champions.
Yeah, always. No, nothing from Alvarez yet. Here's a picture of Britt from last night. Sexy. So shout out to Burch, man, and it was just came over and hit on that one side. He was off a little bit. You could see from laying him flat, and separated shoulder, broke collarbone, could be either of those.
That sucks. That's a hard injury to come back from, the collarbone or separated. If he needs surgery on a shoulder, that can take as long as a neck to come back from. Let me ask you an overarching question. So we have a bloody woman's match. We have this injury. So what did they do the further business to make people outside of us who are paid to actually and made to cover it, forced to cover it? What is the how do you get people to talk? Besides if sparklers go off, and the only thing people talk about with wrestling anymore is the negative stuff, the wrestle crap, the botches. Nobody talks about like, wow, that is so. We talked about it for 15 minutes that Vince wants to watch Dynamite just to see what Coney Tan
is awesome.
Coney Tan. That's I'm channeling Russo's spirit. Coney Tan
2012.
To see what fucked up shit he says and how stupid he said. That's what attracts viewers now. The girls bled. Let's see how they try to kill themselves next week. There's no emotional investment to say, man, I want to see. There you go. I want to see put it on 2030 because that's when the contract's supposed to come valid. And then the kid can run for president 2 years later against The Rock. So what is, nothing. I'll answer my own question. There's nothing making people talk that they won't tune in just to see, and they'll just go to YouTube anyway or Twitter to see the spot, because why watch the whole show when I can just see the shitty little thing or a little clip of 2 minutes?
But to go through it all, because usually when they shave it down, they shave all the botches out of it so it looks halfway competent instead of what they're usually presenting long form. One thing that got shaved down here, Stevie, and you're going to be upset about this and shocked, and I can't wait to hear your I was thinking about saving this to the end, but I'm going to put it here. WWE, you might have heard of them. They pulled Shane McMahon versus Braun Strowman from Fastlane. Shane McMahon versus Braun Strowman may have been nixed from the Fastlane pay-per-view. WWE announced Strowman versus McMahon for Fastlane during Monday's Go Home Raw, but the match is no longer listed on the official WWE website. As of this writing, there's no mention of Strowman versus McMahon on the Fastlane preview page, and their individual superstar pages elsewhere. Monday's Fastlane Go Home edition of Raw featured a segment that ended with McMahon putting Strowman through the announce table with a top rope elbow drop. McMahon then covered Strowman with 2 buckets of green slime. The match was made after McMahon spent weeks taking shots at Strowman's intelligence. Strowman versus McMahon was also rumored for WrestleMania 37 at one point. There's no word yet on if WWE has dropped the feud altogether or what has happened, but we'll keep you updated. The 2021 Fastlane pay-per-view will air this Sunday, March 21st from Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, but it's no longer on the card after Hopscotch and Green Slime. Stevie, what's your take on what they're doing with Strowman here?
We have kind of inside information on the green slime that we're but it's a big reason why it was green slime. Weeks. They're making it sound like they've invested time into the storyline. We were like out of nowhere, like where is this coming from?
And this is what we had. This is week 3, green slime. There was last week, and then the week before is when he chased him out, and the car went away. And get back here, Shane. And then Shane walks in the scene. Well, I wasn't really in the car.
So he's stupid. A babyface. I said this before. Babyface is called stupid, and then it's backed up with evidence that this baby face is stupid, and that's all it is.
Retribution on them after they slime them and everything else. This angle isn't working. We're just taking it off the card. So you got made stupid, you got called stupid, you got in the worst segment of the year with Hopscotch and Slime, and then there's no payoff, and we're just going to go another way.
Do you think Braun got suspended
for B12?
Do you think so?
That'd be great. I'm
saying like they pulled it all of a sudden.
Well, yeah, he'd be the only one, right? Oh, dude, we need you to piss test after the green slime. Dude, you popped for dirty just like 19 other people would on the roster, but we got to take you off the pay-per-view.
And this is both 2 pay-per-views because if it's 30 days, WrestleMania is less than 30 days from Sunday, right? Like shame with like the rib when I used to get drug tested all the time. I got flown in for drug tests all the time, and the guys that were clearly gassed up would walk by and laugh because they would never get tested. So I'm wondering if Shane walked by them and everybody else that's doing shit.
Shane's gassed the fuck up too right now.
You know what I mean? The selective random drug test,
and then they got him. But like, there's the meeting. This guy didn't do what we wanted to do. He can't carry the torch. All right, we'll put him in this, and then we'll cut him off before Mania. Then we'll pop him after we said we want him to get in shape. Then he'll be on the shelf for a month. Like, doesn't this seem like the super? Let's get him with the super fuck. We'll get him in a shitty angle. We'll get him on gas before that, promising him that he's going to have something big. then we'll fucking pop them and we'll take all that away too. That'll really test this guy who came into our office and said, I'm tired of bullies and I just wanted to be in the top, but I have mental issues. And isn't that them testing those issues?
Well, yeah, because the way wrestling responds, like if this guy's working hard and doing whatever, and you see him as somebody that can draw, like for example, in football, they will test you to some degree, from what I understand. Test you, I mean, haze you to some degree. But when they are investing money into you, they're trying to get it back. So they'll put up what's the term? The headache versus the production.
Mm-hmm.
Like what we can make with you in a football game or win games, we'll weigh what your trouble is versus this. And Braun at one point, the potential far outweighed whatever mental issues or sensitivity you might have. So that's what I mean. They think they're being cute, and all Bruce and Vince or that management or that clique or circle care about is, we're going to put our thumb over this guy and put him down because it makes us feel better. They've really forgotten how to actually run business. All right, this guy's a headache and everything, but we got money, and let's see if we can just turn him around. Because if this dude really did, and this is going to be a terrible thing to say, but if this dude really did, or anybody else really did do anything where they could not come back, if you know what I mean, I'm not going to say the word. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they get a little bit of a fucking kick out of that.
Oh, they would, that they broke them. That if they're willing to get a guy's head in the right spot, we just need you to be in a little better shape, and we're going to push you to the moon, bro. Like that's Vince's, when he goes in there to have the father-son chat with him, that's saying, get on the gas without getting on it, and you're going to be our top guy. We want to put everything behind you. Then you do it, get in insane shape, post more selfies where they're going, look at this fucking guy. What's he doing? Mm-hmm. And then they go, well, those guys are tied up right now with Lashley. We want to build you to Lashley at SummerSlam. We're going to put you in this get over with Shane. Shane's going to get you over huge. You're going to go over strong on him at Mania. Okay. 3 weeks of making him look stupid and fucking putting him under, and then going, oh, well, the network or the fans said this was the lowest rated segment, so we're just pulling that. Now he looks stupid. Now he was on the gas. Then they pop him for gas.
And they're saying he's not a draw at the same time.
Not a draw. And then fucking they pull his Mania and Fastlane spot. All this is to fuck with his head from that initial meeting and take him down this road. And then, you know, like you said, we don't want to say the words, but people who are performers are emotional wrecks most of the time. I don't care how much you weigh and how big you are. If you don't have your shit wired and you're in the bubble and you're dancing to whatever tune they tell you to, people cannot handle that pressure when they know they're being fucked with constantly and without it being said directly to their face. But every action is show don't tell, that they want you to put a gun in your fucking mouth and to see if they can get you there through their own little psychological torture and warfare games. And that's pretty much where I believe we are. Now, here's the other thing. Go back to selfie land with Braun. Who is he? Remember when they went to the gun range, who he was posing with when they were all B12'd up, who his other two best buddies are?
EC3 and Spud.
How are they looking this week?
There you go.
Go check out their selfies.
Well, everybody knows naturally as you get older, your testosterone levels increase in this environment of stress. And
when you get fired from WWE, that's when you find out the secret to fitness. All of a sudden, hey, while I was there, I didn't know, but now that I have all this extra time, I just found the secret to fitness and eating right and low carb.
I can't even say they're not on the road anymore because we're not on the road to begin with. I'll tell you a story. This is because they tried to break me every single time. And they sometimes had a 50-50 shot because you're just trying your best. Gain weight, lose weight, lean out, put on muscle, this and that. And I would do it not within the time frame. I was literally told one time, if you can just put on 20 pounds in the next 3 to 4 weeks, you probably have a spot, at least on the opening card of Mania. They weren't telling me what to do. Right. And I didn't do it. So obviously I got heat for that in a way, or I got buried because I didn't really want it, I guess. This is all unspoken stuff, by the way, except for that was spoken. But it literally coming up to me and, hey, if you're just a little leaner, you look kind of soft. Can you gain 10 pounds? Can you cut your hair? Can you grow your hair out? You do the Rick Victor stuff. And I remember when I remember, well, you know, I did that by basically getting up early, working out, dieting, just drinking shakes for 4 days a week on the road for TV, doing cardio, and then getting a hell of a pump before I went out there. Oh, then 2021, I was just standing there.
And I think you look better in 2021.
Well, thank you.
Like that looks like a dude who's healthy and fucking go whoop your ass.
That was 2003. Is it 2003? Yeah. So that's 18 years difference right there.
Naya's looking right in here.
Yeah.
I was superimposer.
Hello, everybody.
It looks like.
But I want to just. Here's what happened. So this is all. Like I've seen it happen to other people where they're out there trying new gimmicks and really just trying to be noticed. And their supposed friends in the management are laughing at them. And each week they try to wind them up. And they spent the entire week or they spent money on a new outfit or anything. And they're laughing at the monitor at them. And these are people that travel with these other people. And you couldn't even smarten the one guy I wanted to smarten up. I couldn't even smarten up because guess what? You're just jealous because this guy's my friend, because he's in power, because he's trying to help. Okay, fine. Sure. But I will tell you this really quickly. So as I'm trying to do multiple body transformations and dieting accordingly, working out, not doing any gas or any drugs or anything, just fucking exhausted for 3 days because working 2 days, working out, dieting, fucking carb depleting, carb cycling. I was about probably at that weight, what you're looking at right there, but I think it was a little bit earlier in 2003, whatever the time was. And Christian was all of $185. And I remember they told me as he was Intercontinental Champion that I was too small to be Intercontinental Champion. I've told that story before, but never told the comparison. And I no-sold it. I was like, hey, you're right. I'm just going to try to put some more size on. Because what they wanted me to say was, look at this skinny motherfucker over here. Talent is anything, but you're saying that I'm too small? I didn't do that. I was like, you're absolutely right. But I had to just swallow that fucking shit and play their game for 8 to 9 months to eventually get taken off TV for no good reason and then money taken out of my pocket. And I'm sitting there going, well, I'm going to suffer some really intense adrenal fatigue when I'm like 40 or 45 because I've just destroyed my system for these fucking idiots.
And it was all just to see what your reaction was when they said that. It didn't have anything to do with the real push or anything. It was just it was your turn to get fucked with. Larry Henry, are the bands back in stock? He's going to invest some of his Biden bucks if they are. You can go to StevieRichardsFitness.com to get all of your resistance band needs and join us in the Hamin Media group, Stevie Richards Fitness workout group there. It's a good place, man, to be a
yeah, everything is in stock. Thank God the girls from the spa got it done before the unfortunate events occurred. So we're ready to go.
New on sale date and capacity set for Wrestlemania 37 tickets. Looks like tickets are going on sale Tuesday, March 16th. The raw date will be announced, but tickets range from $35 to $2,500, and they'll have 36% capacity at Raymond James Stadium, meaning 25,000 fans can attend each night of WrestleMania. Super Bowl had reportedly 38%. And there was a big, huge COVID outbreak, super spreader from that, if you remember correctly. Oh, wait, no, there wasn't. So if you guys are down to go to Florida again, Stevie might be down there on the beach, him and Khan sipping some White Claws, hand on Cody's shoulders, and having a good time. But I know Strangler Steve, Josh, and the Violent Flame are going down there to check it out. So y'all have a good time. They enjoy it.
Still got a few weeks to see what'll happen.
Yeah,
you never know.
Braun might not be there. Ember Moon admits she's considered retiring last year. Go with that. I've taken a few days to process this. Last year around this time, I was thinking I would never enter the ring again, consider retiring, and now I can call myself a champion again. 2 years and 11 months since the last time I held gold, and now I'm going to do it with someone I consider a sister, Shotzi Blackheart. She's been there to lift me up, to make me laugh, have my back, and even hold me when I was wrong. Shotzi makes me want to be so much better as a person and performer. We're two peas in a smoke-filled tank. I love you, TTP. Whatever the fuck that means. For the first time in a long time, I'm having fun. My passions have been reignited on an entirely different level. Thank you, Triple H. This is only the beginning, and I'm so thankful to be home in NXT. Crying over phony titles, putting over the girl who's nearly broken her own neck 15 times in the last year because she doesn't even know what the fundamentals of wrestling are. And, still doing a finish that's going to leave her probably paralyzed by the time she's 50 and in a wheelchair. Team mark out for NXT and doesn't get it about wrestling. And, I'm shocked that being a Johnny come lately on the werewolf fucking vampire train that was True Blood and all that other shit. What was the books that were so big there? Twilight. Like, again, yeah, would have been great if it would happen while that was going on. She debuts 3 years after all that shit hits its peak. So, I don't ever see this girl coming back to the main roster and being a draw or a force. They tried it. She got hurt because of her stupid finisher. And, until you change completely, I don't see the money there.
I'm real geek. I'm curious to know what the NXT talent is getting these days. Like, they brought her back. So yeah. I know that some of the top guys like Balor and other people are getting full-time money with merch and all the other stuff, royalties.
$750 a week. I think bottom contracts $4,500 to about $45,000 to about $70,000 for new signees.
Where do you think she's at? Do you think they just brought her back on her old deal because they had the 90 days to bring her back? Was it within that time?
I bet she's gotten a bump. I bet she's on the upper end of that, but even then, that's them fooling themselves. You know what I mean? Just thinking that they're over and they're really not a draw. Or the only time we talk about Ember Moon is when there's a headline. Nobody's in any of the chats that we go, did you see that match? You see these girls? And if we talk about Shotzi Blackheart, it's because she did a stupid spot that she landed on the top of her head that shouldn't even have been in the match and that she can't perform safely. So what is the big, like, yay for all of them, when the reality is it should be like, yay, you're off TV until you learn how to do this shit the right way.
Never.
Okay.
No, it's not. You got to change the system. We got to change Matt Bloom, Sarah Del Rey, everybody. You got to start listening to the guys like Robbie Brookside and Norman Smiley and other guys that maybe they didn't have the biggest spots, but that what I said, when the explosion happens or sparklers go off, whichever, take your choice. Whenever that happens and you have to reset the business. What is Matt Bloom? And Matt Bloom knows how to work. He was back in that era where you could do different things. A big guy that never hurt me. He was safe in the ring. If Matt Bloom can't hurt you, then there's no reason that nobody their size should hurt each other.
Sure.
Even in a way of a killer cross, there's no way a guy that size should have to hurt anybody. He's strong enough to protect somebody. I'm not saying he did it on, but you see what I mean? I think we're just within the environment of, we don't care about protecting the body, so we're all doing this for 20, 30, 40 years. We just got to get over in this one spot. Let's worry about everything after it.
How did Norman Smiley get over?
The wiggle.
And
he's a shooter. He'll beat I'll take him over anybody. Maybe him and Brookside would be interesting, but Norman is,
and I'd like to see right there.
Well, him and Brookside versus Regal and Finley is like, holy shit, that would draw. None of the guys were even active. Right.
But so she can get over in her entrance, driving the tank out, the t-shirt gun, but she still feels the need to do this dumb indie bullshit that undoes her getting over in her entrance. It's like, oh, this entrance is cool. This is something interesting and different. Then they let her wrestle and you're like, oh, this shit is rotten, bro. Like, it doesn't back it up. So they got the new guy from Dick House Productions over there. Yeah. Why aren't they, like, I even imagine this. I think we talked it out on Raw and SmackDown review before, but dude, the whole thing is that jackass, confetti cannons going off in slow motion, fucking t-shirt gun, them looking tough, doing like that Kid Rock hip hop crossover freak show video and building a whole crew around her. You could have the vampire chick and her friends if they're best friends, but they're not using the cinematography and the tricks that these characters are with green hair and fucking driving a tank and all that. No one gives a shit about them wrestling. They should be getting over in their entrance and with cool videos and beating somebody convincingly in 2 minutes because they're more over. They're fucking Rikishi and too cool. That's what they are. Nobody wants to see those guys go 15 minutes doing a bunch of get your shit in. They want Rikishi to hit you with the stink face. They want the worm, and we take it home from there. Instead, they got to get their shit in like it's the fucking indies and the women's revolution instead of going, I just want my own fucking cool video and to partner with these bands that I like and we'll do fun Jackass type things. And they got the guy from Jackass who was a producer on there and we're not getting it. So everyone sucks.
Well, I'll tell you who doesn't suck. A new warrior will rise and Saray will be here.
Saray's. Yeah,
just the gift of her just walking to the ring, signing her contract, one thing, that's it. And of course, the racist House of the Rising Sun in the background. Everybody Japanese loves that. That just defines all of them.
Frank's Picklebear asked, she sold shit pics. We're not dealing with a sane person, Ben. So that's where we are. And by shit pics, do you mean she just sold pictures of her match? Because that'd be about the equivalent. Eric Bischoff believes Goldberg still wrestles for money. Is that racist? Eric Bischoff recently spoke to Chris Van.
What Bischoff said?
Yeah. Can you say a Jewish wrestler only wrestles for money and it doesn't come off racist in 2021? Bischoff played a huge part in Goldberg's career during their time in WCW. He believes the Hall of Famer is now just wrestling for the money. Goldberg is doing it for the money. Come on. This is not love of the business or love to get out there and perform. In my opinion, sorry, Bill. And you and I aren't close friends, but we are friends. And if what I'm saying, Bill, offends you, then I apologize because I don't mean it, but to come on, my dude. Do you think he's doing it for fun or do you think he's doing it for the money? It's a smart thing. It's smart. It's not a bad thing. I'm not putting it down. If I had the ability of Bill's age to look the way Bill did and he gave me some 7-figure check to work 5 minutes, come on, let's be honest with ourselves. And I'm not busting anyone's balls over this. Anyone would do it. We dream about that opportunity. Well, Bish ain't wrong there. But, look at Goldberg in his last appearance versus Drew. 20 pounds lighter off the gas. Like the traps aren't there, the shoulders are, and then the arms are small. The body doesn't look as big, but at least we don't have him in a match yet going into WrestleMania for another quick payoff. But yeah, Bischoff talking some real stuff here. But if it's all about the Monday, how long until he goes to talk to Tony? And we see that.
Well, he has another match this year, 2 matches a year. So they got another one coming. Someone said Bischoff's in the Hall of Fame.
Eric is in WWE Hall of Fame now. I think he was already, right? Didn't he get inducted? I'm not sure.
Let
me see here. Eric Bischoff.
Hall of Fame said 2017. Was that one? Oh no, now it's for 2021 class.
2021. So that'll be interesting. It'll be even better if Goldberg inducts him now. That'll be fucking hilarious. Sasha Banks reveals.
Will that air on TNT?
We'll see. They'll put him over. Well, that is interesting. That if he's the secret stooge for TNT, who's the overarching hand between them, and he's making appearances on AEW, but now WWE is going to put him in the Hall of Fame. Does that seem like normal McMahon behavior?
Here's the thing about that. First of all, I keep saying it's not like the NFL Hall of Fame. It's whatever it is. You get opportunities with the NFL Hall of Fame that can give you income for the rest of your life. I don't know if the WWE Hall of Fame has any kind of Legends contract attached to it. But if I were Eric, this is a guy, like I said, I'm very, very envious that this guy was in, I think, Cody, Wyoming. his back porch basically backed up the Yellowstone or whatever nature preserve there is there for miles and miles of undisturbed land.
It's unbelievable there. If you've never been to Cody, Wyoming,
It's amazing. It's a reason why it's so expensive. And don't go hunting with Dick Cheney. That's the only thing I would tell you not to do. Make that guy drive his entire life to a little apartment in downtown Stanford and make him go into the grind again. I didn't make him, but you know what I'm saying.
Sure.
And you think this is going to be an opportunity for a few years to replenish money that you invested in a production company or whatever financial situation you're in. 6 months later, you're out, and now you got to get out of that and logistically, I guess, bring it all. But I hope he didn't sell his house. I would have kept it.
He's got it. It's still there.
And I would hope they gave him some sort of severance package or something. But
let's
imagine if they didn't. Imagine if.
But I mean, what got stooged to us, and we've never really said it fully, but that is, and whatever the heat is, and maybe this is a story that's not true, but here's how it got stooged to us. Somebody who works in Stanford in the school district interviewed his wife, and she was
actually in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Connecticut, Hartford, I think, right?
Hartford. That she was there and couldn't, because they weren't hiring or whatever, couldn't even get the library, or got the librarian position, like as an assistant, as a favor or whatever. But I guess during that interview, she was going off about how, not that I'm going to say that he was broke, but lost all this, and this was the chance for them to get back on top, and they got fucked out of X amount of millions of dollars at the end of WCW when WWE took it, like just spilling her guts how you shouldn't during a job interview. And that person who interviewed her, the principal, is a huge listener of what we do on certain platforms. And that story got stooged directly to us from that. And we sat on that the whole time that Bischoff was employed, to show like we could easily come out when they slam Russo on things and be like, oh yeah, but we don't. And I'm telling it now because it's way hindsight being 2020, but these are the things that are true that get pushed to us, and we just
according to what we true according to the person that told us. I'm just saying, who knows if it's legitimately true, but this is what we are told from the person in or close to that position.
And believe me, if Vince and them know that, they're going to use that leverage to the end of fucking days, you know?
Yeah. But that's why if I'm Eric, and obviously it's a cool thing when you work within the business to be recognized to any extent, or if you look like you're going to have some sort of credibility within the bubble. But if they did fuck him over like that and all that stuff happened and everything, my camera's fucking me over. It keeps auto zooming. But if they did that to him, or if they did that to one of us, wouldn't there be a part of you to just be like, I'm going to be the one person that publicly says, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. I'm just not ready for that. Like, just turns, because then Vince is like, God damn son of a bitch, turn me down. Like, Vince loves that. You're the toy he can't play with. I don't know. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, I mean, to have the upper hand, I just think putting him in the Hall of Fame is an interesting thing of like, after he's been on AEW so much.
No, I know what you're saying. I'm saying Eric's play to Khan can then be, I'm not doing it because I'm on your team.
Because I'm on your
guy, and then you're over with Khan.
Well, it's too late now because they've announced it. I don't see Bischoff doing that. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I just think that it almost right now, and I guess we're on the side of that with you, myself, and Russo are on the side. Our market's on the opposite of saying everything's rosy and great. And thank you so much. May I have another? That Bischoff could completely repackage himself as that rebel he was when he was running WCW. I don't think he looks at it
that way. I think he looks at it, Khan's not paying me. I worked the deal, so TNT's paying me, and that's where the check comes from. And then he can go to WWE because he's flying under the radar there, and he doesn't even have to okay it with Khan, and Khan can't get rid of him because of TNT, because the money's coming from TNT. But Bischoff knows that if he goes back and gets the ring, that means he can go right to autograph signings and charge 20 grand. Now Hall of Famer Bischoff, along with Nash, Hall, and all your NWO favorites are here. Steiner, I've seen it. I've worked the shows with him, whether it's Big Time Wrestling or when it was at Pro Wrestling Blitz, and his price just went up another $3 grand. So if he does need the money, that's where Bischoff knows they're, what WWE fucking Hall of Fame shit has he ever done? It's all the WCW stuff that they own now, but that's Vince pulling them off TNT and Bischoff working both sides for a check. Bischoff don't give a fuck about Khan,
Okay. No, this is just an interesting conversation to see how you play that. That's all.
Yeah.
I mean, there might not be a right or a wrong answer either way. Hey, listen, the Hall of Fame's strictly subjective, but if there would be one guy that would, and if I were Bischoff, I'm just going to say this because this would be, people would talk. You know what I'm about to say. But before I say that, Bischoff almost put Vince out of business. He does have a place in the history of wrestling during a boom when 10 million people were watching wrestling. Now, the other person has a lot to do with that. If I were Bischoff, I would go completely anti whatever, just to get people talking. Controversy creates cash.
Mm-hmm.
I would ask Russo to induct me.
Wow. That'd be
talk about that'd be one of the. I'm not saying it'll ever happen, but you want to talk about.
Well,
shit, did you hear
do that? If they're going to put they're going to put Bischoff in the Hall of Fame. Are we 1 year, 2 years away from Russo going into? I mean, how can it not?
It's a conversation, but I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. And I think who's going to induct Bischoff will be Vince because of the Monday Night Wars, which would be the second best bet.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the two. But if he publicly said, I want Russo to induct me because it's one of my rivals, but then Vince is right there on the surface with that.
What if they really fuck with him and they get Tony Schiavone to induct Bischoff, that just to fuck with Khan?
That's interesting. I don't know. That's people talk with him getting in there, but I don't think people will be talking to the level of this because is the Hall of Fame going to be socially distanced with him on a Zoom call?
There was information on, I didn't bring that up. That is on the sheets. You can find out more about the Hall of Fame this year because I was more interested in Sasha Banks and how she reveals how her finisher was created.
Oh, nice. Somebody said Austin. I think Austin might be a bet too, but it could be just about anybody. It could be Goldberg. It really could be Goldberg that'll induct Bischoff in there. Yeah, he's under contract, so maybe. I mean, it could be Sasha.
That'd be perfect. I can't even read this. This is so stupid. I'm going to skip that one. You can go figure out how she created it. Mustafa Ali recalls telling Vince McMahon he was a good talker.
Can I stop you?
Yeah.
Besides the stuff you're about to say.
Yeah.
I bring up this question every so often. Why do they continue to have these wrestlers do all these interviews with these different places every single week and kill every bit of mystique and angle and character and business why are you doing interviews? This got to be a Stephanie McMahon type PR initiative.
I would agree, especially with now they've made the office of talent relations to third parties. So because they did that, they're going to have somebody just, lining up interviews all the time, but they don't see that's devaluing their properties and not doing it in-house. He says, I can only speak with my experience with Chairman Vince McMahon and the creative team, but not really. You can always tell them what you're capable of doing, or you can show them. The first time I told Vince McMahon I'm a talker, he didn't believe I was. So I recorded my own promos. I recorded my own videos. It's a lot easier to show them what you're capable of doing than telling them. I've got a pretty good range in terms of saying the things I do. I've seen the promos. I'm not really sure if I agree with what's up, but Ali wants a shot at the WWE title at Fastlane as well. He says, Riddle, I want a rematch at Fastlane after T-Bar had jumped up during his match to educate the referee on trans rights, and they had a conversation that ended up costing Ali the match this past week on Raw. So I don't know, dude. I think the more of these things he does, talking about putting himself over and this, that, or the other, he doesn't understand how the office works and that they will get their retribution on him because he's trying to get himself over, and they say when you get over, not the other way around.
Mm-hmm. These interviews don't do anybody any good.
No.
Don't do anybody any good. I have a story here if you don't have it.
What's that?
Report why WWE Raw personality was pulled from television. Did you have this?
It's Charlie Caruso.
It's great. Best thing that ever happened to her. Go to First Take full time.
I was gonna say it for that. Fine. WWE on-air talent Charlie Caruso, the hottest woman on the show, has backstage heat. It was reported today by Fightful Select via some stooge that Caruso has been absent from WWE TV as of late because she picked up some backstage heat after consistently being late to conduct interviews at Raw tapings. There were specific instances with Randy Orton and Sheamus that led to WWE taking Caruso off TV for the time being. Chairman and CEO Vince McMahon reportedly heard of Caruso's tiredness and took exception to the situation. One source noted that Caruso is one injury or illness away from being back in the fold. The same source indicated that WWE hiring Kevin Patrick earlier this month was seen as a direct replacement for Caruso. He worked backstage on WWE Raw this week and hosted Raw Talk with the 24/7 champion R-Truth, which Caruso usually does. There's a belief among WWE talents that Caruso's contract expires soon, but there's no word on her future with the company. She also has a job with the ESPN. Stay tuned for more. I mean, Orton and Sheamus, those are two guys that can walk up to Vince and go, this chick wasn't here, bro, and I'm scheduled. Is she over? Please let me know if she's over. But she does have the ESPN gig, but that's a quick way in wrestling to get heat is not be there early, prepared, and ready to go, I guess. But maybe she's had enough and she might get it and be like, fuck it, fire me. This shit sucks.
Might be. Well, just think she has to talk about all these different subjects, or she has to stand around and look stupid. And we talked about it on Russo a long time ago. Like, don't waste your time with this. You actually have to put this shit over when you can actually talk about real sports and be, a broadcaster.
I mean, she is the easiest on the ice. She saves the scene. She's hot. She's good at her job, and this is where heat, and you just have to, I'd like to be able to stick up for her, but if I had you scheduled for 2:00 for Randy Orton and Sheamus interviews and you roll in at 2:15, I'm going to pull you aside too as a director. I'd like to be able to go to bat for her here, but if that's the case, you can't fuck around like that in this business, bro.
Or there could be other reasons.
There could be. That could be a cover story. Somebody wanted to bang her and and I'm sure she'll come out as bisexual soon enough, like everybody else. Another person who may not be returning to their position, Dave Marquez, reveals he will not be returning to work on NWA Power. Marquez announced that he will not be returning this week. They didn't invite him back for the upcoming episodes. His former protege on production, Billy Trask, is there, and he will have plenty of work ahead of him, it sounds like. So Billy Trask seems to be the guy who took Lagana's place, I imagine, in some, I don't know how much hands-on. Well, Lagana did edit those 10 pounds of gold, so it seems like that's the way they went instead of calling other people. But he also just put out that he's looking for talent for NWA Hollywood, referee and in-ring talent. So he's focusing on that. I'm sure there's still some sort of working relationship, but that's interesting to me with NWA going to fight. Is there some bigger story here that still is, that we're unaware of? Seems weird that they would cut Marquez out unless there's some heat there.
Oh, no doubt. Or he outlived his usefulness and they all eventually just screw each other over. It's the wrestling business. It's carny promoters.
And well, I mean, there's a lot of connection in there because he's still working CWF Hollywood, and Aaron the Idol Stevens, or Aaron Haddad or Damian Sandow, joined us this week on Master Shoot Theater. We had a great time. He's facing Magnus this weekend. No gimmicks needed. No Chris Candido style. Just going to be himself for the first time instead of trying to do comedy and give you a straight, Killer Kowalski OVW style wrestling match here for the NWA title, but he's working with Marquez, so that's kind of the crossover still there as well. So interesting to see how that plays out. Maybe I'll try and get some inside stooge on that. But I think I also got hit from Tasha on Twitter today that she definitely wants that segment where we break down Raw and just send it to them so Aaron can do reactions of what we're actually telling him is going on TV while he doesn't watch.
Very nice.
AEW takes a shot at the leg slap rule on Dynamite. Don Callis took a shot on that on there. He said, as a recovery gift, Callis offered the Bucks a shirt which read, "Do not slap leg when kicking," which Matt Jackson quickly tossed aside. This t-shirt is a legitimate article of clothing that can be purchased at ProWrestlingTees.com, and go over to ProWrestlingTees.com/BenHamin/Stevie Richards. Grab a couple other shirts, Kitty World Order and Conspiracy Horseman would be my suggestions.
I might have a leg slapper t-shirt coming out.
All right. Because Drew also was hot about it because of the Claymore kick where he does the or the Klondike kick, if you will, the leg slap on that, and he dropped an F-bomb on Raw Talk afterwards. So that's got people shaking up. So here we are with blue language, no leg slapping. You can't slap your leg, but you sure as hell can say fuck, shit, and asshole on TV now.
What about the fact I called it? The leg slap will probably get someone killed, because now instead of slapping your leg, you're going to kick somebody in the face as hard as you can. The leg slap was probably what saves people from getting stiffed.
Ask Asuka.
What?
How'd it work out for Asuka?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Lord. Oh, I mean, dude, what they're going to they do these little things thinking it's going to bring legitimacy. But like, let's fix the entrances. No more leg slaps. These are not even Band-Aids on a broken neck. This is, why do we keep bullshitting around with these little fixes that you need, like any kind of, it's like just amazing.
Yeah. Like that's going to bring them back. We stopped leg slapping. Ratings went up 400,000. Okay. Sure.
And deaths went up 400,000 too.
Yeah, man. Just to scale it back and make it a rib. What I'm going to do is do what I always do on the indie, not leg slap at all. Get my good strikes in as I was taught sound fundamentals. And then afterwards, after I beat the guy down, I'm just going to start slapping my leg out of nowhere. Just like, I'm not going to throw anything. I'm going to hit everything I usually do. And I'm throwing in a leg slap at the end of my waz, just as a complete fuck you to the business.
So I want to see him cursing here.
24/7 to him. Same thing to me. Same thing to Lashley. It would have been simple. Just ask me. Just bloody ask me. The best friend. You want to do that live on Raw? Sever our friendship. All that. Yeah.
Oh, they muted it.
Hold on 1 second. Hey, Dad, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing today?
I'm good, man. You're on air right now in the Friday locker room. Did you watch any wrestling this week?
No, I haven't at all.
Hey, you're down. You're
on air.
You're on with Stevie Richards and myself in the Friday locker room. You're down in Florida. You didn't go to AEW and try and get a match this week with Tony Khan, Dad?
No, I was trying to pass off on that. I figured he wasn't really in shape for me to work on him too.
Yeah,
we only had 15 matches. Sorry.
Well, I can try and work the phones and get you a spot on AEW Dark. Everything going good down there?
Yeah, no worries. I just want to make sure you're good for next Tuesday.
Yeah, 23rd at 7, right? You guys are coming in.
Yeah, we'll give you a call just to make sure the flight's still on time and all that.
All right, you having fun down there? Everything's good?
Yeah, it's a little challenging for me, but you know how that is. I'm used to the woods. But I'm sitting on a canal overlooking water here in our second place, and duck the stuff going up down through and manatees and all that kind of stuff. So it's
cool.
Good time.
That's cool, man. All right. Yeah, I'll be there. No worries. If anything changes, just give me a shout, all right?
All right. Well, if anything changes, you just contact your brother because he's the backup plan,
okay.
All right?
Yeah, no worries. I don't have anything planned that way. So get ready, Dad. 9 days till your next match. I'm calling Khan. You're going over.
All right. There you go.
All right, Dad. Talk to you soon.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.
There he is, Dub D, the Emperor himself, giving us a shout out, and you can see him go over strong on Lucha House Party. I think he's going to beat them all, and it should be pretty easy, as he was a super heavyweight undefeated champion for 4 years. So the rare run-in, and right in time for our final headline of the day. Are you ready, Stevie?
I am ready.
Are you ready? Kylie Rae returning to the ring, Stevie. Chicago's favorite daughter returns for Warrior Wrestling on Saturday, June 5th for the first of 3 outdoor events for the promotion has planned for the 2021 Stadium Series. Kylie Rae won the Warrior Women's Wrestling from Tessa Blanchard, another reliable name in this business, during 1 week of the 2020 series, and went on to successfully defend the belt against Madison Rayne 2 weeks later. And let's see, this will be Kylie Rae's first match since October, and she was originally slated to challenge for the Knockouts title, the Impact Bound for Glory, but then missed the event and announced her retirement and took herself off of all social media after allegations of, I don't know, people were speculating adultery, mental breakdowns, and that was right after she got engaged too. So and then no one's really answered the questions of what went on supposedly behind closed doors between Jericho and her at AEW that made her leave there. So scheduled for the 2021 Warrior Wrestling Stadium Series, available at warriorwrestling.net. In Chicago Heights. You know, this is the Tape Trader, Masturbator, Berwyn, Eagles Club, Shimmer, Shine crowd. I don't know, man. And here's the thing, booking shows in Chicago, even though it's outside, the most SJW audience who will try and cancel you for even getting together in the smallest way. I see about an 80% chance of this not coming off here.
I'll let you, you pretty much said everything there is to say about that. Dude, I don't know, man. This is strange. I mean, if they're just bringing her back to drop the belt, she has that belt, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But like you said, there's so many factors that are just unknown. What are you going to do?
Why would you take the chance? Why wouldn't you just strip her of the title and put 2 people in there that are reliable?
Well, also, who's going to remember? Who cares, like, who was the last champion and we got to do good business or any of that stuff? I know where you're coming from, too. How do you even know? Like, even if you can run it in Chicago and you can run it on an outdoor stadium show and the government doesn't shut you down, is she going to show up?
Mm-hmm. And in what shape mentally, you know, and ready to do business. But that is our headlines for the day. As I hear the Dogs of War whining constantly. Dad,
she'll be back on TV in 6 months. Yeah,
she'll be champ. It'll be good. She'll be getting color against Britt Baker in a hardcore whatever match at this time, man. So, oh, Stevie, that was same old shit. Rough headlines all day long. But I appreciate you, you know, suffering through the con grain and, you know, making it one more Friday locker room with me. We miss you, you know, but it's always good to have Strangler Steve on, but he's got a new gig. We want to do a 3-man booth here, but we just can't seem to get it lined up. But when the stars align, we will do it, you guys, with all the Steves that I know. Stevie, what do you got on the agenda for today, buddy?
I'm going to visit the people of Walmart and buy some chicken and maybe try to cook it up if it's not raining. I already recorded actually how to do drop sets using resistance bands this morning. That's going to
I want to see that, dude, because I'm doing Body Beast right now, and that's all drop sets. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I'll send it to you, but it's going to go up on the YouTube channel and obviously go up in the Facebook group for Steve Richards Fitness. But outside of that, I'll probably be doing an updated review on the Force USA G3, and then hopefully booking my move to, you know, Dixieland, Florida.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, you can go down there, tag with the old man, and I think you guys could easily beat FTR. There's no doubt about that. My old man beat FTR by himself.
What are they gonna? Are they gonna cut the horns off his mask?
They might try and get at his beard, but that's about all they're going to do there. No lucha for Dub D, man. We go out heel strong. Oh man, what else going on here? Hamin Media Group, all of our Patreons.com. We're looking to really promote the A Show and Big Vito brand this month. You guys can sign up for both those, have the chance to win ECW Legends autographed or Young Bucks thigh slapping comic book autograph, signing up for both those. The A Show has 3 premium shows out for free, and I heard these week's shows that are behind the paywall at a very reasonable price, I think $5, are going to be red hot, talking some real inside baseball, man, from April Hunter and Damian Sandows. We're trying to cross promote and get everybody's Patreons up and up. So you guys, you can keep it locked right here, Hamin Media Group, as we represent everybody from the beautiful people, Stevie Richards Fitness, Stevie Rae brand, Rip Rogers Hustler podcast was really great from the Snake Pit Pro, a real insider look at how Rip teaches this past week. And Russo brand was a blast with Master Shoot Theater, having Damian Sandow on there with us, man. A little edgy because like he didn't know what he was in for, but I think we did a good job, man. We had fun this week.
It's an acquired taste at some point, and everybody has the cognitive dissonance of, oh God, I'm going to get in trouble in wrestling. We're all institutionalized to some degree, but we fight through it and we just don't care anymore.
Not anymore, man. Not in these days. We're like, don't you want a job? With who? With ignorant people who can't do this nearly as closely as good as I can do it, and then I have to lower myself and smile? Nah, I'll keep building my own empire, man, with people I know and trust. We're the best talent and minds in this business, and one's sitting right here with me right now. Big Stevie Cool, I appreciate all of your time and insight.
Don't say that. Don't fucking call me.
Well, I mean, you got to go hang out with CM Punk before that happens. But y'all, infidels, you never know who's going to walk into the Friday locker room here at hackerhamin.podbean.com, prowrestlingtees.com/BenHamin/Stevie Richards infidels, where the real vets hang out. Y'all.